Today I want to tell you a story that is probably very similar to yours. A story about failures and mistakes, but also about resilience and second chances. Of how I went from losing my job, laying in a hospital bed, unable to walk, to buying this cabin in the Dolomites and get back on my feet. A story about the power of change and the lessons I've learned. Nobody will save you unless you save yourself. So grab a cup of tea and consider this a chat with a friend. And stick with me till the end, because I want to share an two exciting updates about my journey with all of you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Antonella and this story starts 8 years ago. I've always been a fighter, but sometimes that is not enough. When life throws its worst at you, the only person that can make a difference, it's you. And in the end, it shouldn't be any other way. I've been there and I've learned my lessons. From almost losing this cabin, to the joy of becoming a parent, to the heartache of letting someone I loved go, and even overcoming a life-changing surgery and the restriction of a changed body. Each experience has shaped who I am today and has made me stronger. I was a regular person with a regular job, but I guess I simply did not fit in the rules of modern society. Kindness is not a trait that will be praised when you work in a bank. And while working for one, I had to witness so many low points of human behavior. The stark contrast between who owns a lot and who owns too little. Rather than being a cog in the big financial machine, I left my job. I left the stability that came with it, only to face an unexpected life-changing spinal surgery. With no money and no backup plan. I really screwed up there. There's been moments when my days were filled with uncertainty and fear, where hope was just a word. But in a way, I just keep reaching for it. Life is a way to point us in the right direction, even when we struggle to understand. I needed to find a different path in a different place. Choosing means giving up on something to pursue something else. I chose this cabin and all the challenges that would entail. And believe me, there were and still are many. In a world that estimates our value based on the amount of money we can spend, I decided not to be just a number. Living in the mountain has been a transformative experience. When I first bought this cabin, I was drawn to the tranquility and beauty of nature. But above everything else, I was looking to escape the physical and mental pain I was in. The rhythm of life up here is different. There's always something to take care of, but there's also time to drink a cup of tea, watching the leaves move and change color with the sun, and to reflect and face your demons. Silence can be a difficult friend, but once you get to know it, things start to unfold. I was recovering from a spinal surgery that had left me in a really dark place, and I needed to find a positive motivation to get literally back on my feet. I needed time to heal and to learn how to walk again, how to live again. If it wasn't for the surgery, I probably never truly considered buying this cabin in the middle of nowhere. My journey has been filled with ups and downs, but it has ultimately led me to a simpler, more fulfilling life. Challenges had always been part of my life, and it's probably the same for all of you out there. This place, it's a stark contrast to the hustle and bustle of city life, and of everything I was used to, everything I considered normal. A good enough job in a good enough life. But good enough sometimes is not enough. Here, I've learned the value of simplicity, and I've discovered a different way to look at life. Here, being rich is not about having a pocket full of money. The slower pace allows me to appreciate the little things. A sunrise, the wind through the fields, the snow falling in winter, the laughter of my daughter. It's a reminder that life doesn't have to be complicated to be beautiful. After the surgery, I was left without much hope of experiencing motherhood. My body wasn't ready and my biological clock was past the time limit. But 5 years ago, my life changed again. And against all odds, we became parents of a beautiful, healthy baby. And my daughter has taught me so much about love and patience. I remember one day we were walking in our forest and it was raining. It's often raining around here. It was an awful day and she said, "Mama, you know what is my favorite game? Puddle jumping." And she had the biggest smile ever. She did not care about the rain. She simply cared about life and being happy. That moment struck me deeply. It reminded me that we can thrive even in challenging circumstances. That beauty sits in the eyes of those who are watching. Life is like a roller coaster, and you can never really appreciate the ups until you learn to appreciate the downs. Last year, I faced a really difficult moment when in July our beloved dog Lucy died. 12 years of sharing our lives gone in a couple of months. It was sudden and the grief hit me like a wave. Losing her taught me once more about the depth of love and the pain of loss. It reminded me that life is fragile and that we should cherish every moment with those we love. I often find myself reflecting on the joy she brought into our lives, and I strive to honor her memory by being present and appreciating the time I have with my family. Lucy has been there when Saga had entered our world, and Saga was there when we said our last goodbye to Lucy. Someone would say it's the circle of life. All of these experiences have taught me resilience and the importance of never taking my health of life for granted. They also reinforce my belief in the power of nature to heal and inspire. Every step I take now feels like a victory, and I'm grateful for the ability to explore these mountains that have become my sanctuary. No success is ever granted, but that makes it even more important to celebrate even the small ones and take notice. I often say that life has a way of balancing itself out. In July, I've lost Lucy, but in October, something I thought it would never be possible happened. Before my surgery, I was a trail runner, and I knew I would never be able to run again after my recovery. The doctor had been really clear about that. But last year, something changed. After 7 years of not being able, physically or mentally, to run, I decided to give it a try. I'd worked for months on myself to become stronger and to get my right leg to properly function again. It was not perfect, but it was good enough. And it was time to push through and see where I could get. I got my running shoes on and got out. No set time, no set distance, just me and the chance to try. It was the most liberating moment. The wind on my face, the movement in my legs. It felt like a cascade of light had showered me, but the only thing that was showering me was rain. It was raining. It was pouring, and it was an ugly day in a very difficult period. We've merely made it through a terrible summer with tons of problems at the cabin. But in that moment, as I hit the road, I felt as if a piece of me had finally found its place again. It felt like hope. It was just another reminder that things can change. What was impossible before wasn't anymore. I know I will never be able to run regularly anymore. I know my body cannot sustain that type of strain. But even to do it once felt like finding myself again. It's a door that opens and stays that way. You don't need to pass the threshold, but you know it's there. So what have I learned from these experiences? Acceptance, love, resilience, patience, and the beauty and healing power of nature. The mistakes I made had taken me in a place that now I recognize as home. This place has given me a new chance to start over. Every time life has pushed me down. I don't have a fancy job, a luxurious apartment, or trendy clothes, but my life is rich. And since life can always be full of surprises and meaning, I also want to share with you my latest project. Something I've been working on it since like forever, but now it's almost completed. I've been writing a book, a novel. I had to put many other things on hold, but it was worth it because I had made a promise to myself a long time ago. And although I have no idea what is going to happen now, I thought it was nice to let you know that pursuing your dream is always worth it. It doesn't matter where they take us. It's just about doing the things you love for yourself, first of all. Maybe I'll never get published, but at least I've tried. It's never been about succeeding, but about facing my fears. Even this channel, no matter if it's small and unheard of, has given me so much. Me, a really shy person, talking to a camera would have been unbelievable 2 years ago. And I still feel like an idiot every time I do talk in front of a camera. But to better oneself, it takes practice. So here I am. And I've learned so many things from all of you. I've heard so many uplifting stories in the comments. Whenever I talk to you, it always feels like talking to a long-lost friend. In a world where connection and human kindness is disappearing, sharing your own path and your own flaws can be powerful. And if you're watching this video, feel free to share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear your story, and I'm sure many will benefit from it. And take the time to consider subscribing and follow my journey, while I try to turn my life into something different. Your help will be greatly appreciated. Together we can rise, heal, and thrive. Let's see where this journey will take us. Remember, your story is still being written. I encourage you to reflect on your own life. What can you do today to start changing? It's never too late to choose a path that brings you joy and peace. Thanks for joining me today. I hope to hear from all of you, and until next time, take care. Ciao.